Hey everybody, Todd Michael Putnam from Creative Adventure Tables, bringing you another adventure table idea. This is the Cult of the Spider Queen. Cult of the Spider Queen. So the players get hired by the captain of the guard in order to find his wife's sister. His wife's sister. Why? Because his wife's sister was basically a troublesome person, had a lot of difficulty, didn't go well with the family, and so a couple of years ago, she basically ended up out on the streets. However, his wife's father has just recently died, and he left a will basically saying that his wife would have to, the captain of the guard's wife, has to take care of his sister, whose sister's name is Alice. And if he doesn't take care of her, or she doesn't take care of her, then she won't get any of the very substantial will because he knows what a challenge his Alice has been. So, unfortunately, his sister has gone missing. She used to be basically hanging around the homeless camps, and the captain of the guard would, go there every couple weeks or so or whatever, and make sure she at least had food and water and clothing and basic safety and stuff. Just check on her and whatnot. But through a couple months ago, several months ago, she became missing, and so there's a substantial reward for the players to come find her and bring her back alive to him so that she can co-sign on the will so that he can get all of his money. So when he gets his money from the will of his sister's dad, he can then pay the players a sum of 500 gold each, which is a nice chunk of change. So basically, it's the find the missing person who is a homeless person mystery up front, but it goes deep. So they go to a first homeless camp area here, and they end up having to bribe this guy who basically says that she used to be there, Alice used to be there, but she ended up getting addicted to some kind of liquid. They trying to remember what he called it. Oh yeah, the nectar of the goddess. And once she got addicted to that, she kind of headed off to the rougher parts of town in order to keep earning the gold she needed in order to keep getting it, apparently. So the rougher part of town is over here where there's prostitutes and brothel and stuff like that. And so the players go to that area and they end up talking to the lady that sort of runs this homeless camp, if you will. And she says that Alice used to be here and used to be a good quote unquote worker, but things went bad for her because she got more and more talking about she needed this nectar of the goddess, and that she was hearing the calling of some kind. And then she just ran off at some point. And eventually they come over to, and when she ran off, she went to the worst parts of the town where all the crazy people go. And they went to another homeless camp that was over here. And in there, they met a young man who also had a whole lot of difficulties. But he said that Alice, who used to be his friend, she got called by the goddess to go to the church. But the church wasn't this actual church over here. Instead, it was this abandoned building over here is where she went to go be with her goddess. Very strange. So they go into that building to find Alice, who's apparently become addicted to some drink called the nectar of the goddess, and who is seemingly embroiled in some kind of a cult or something. And when they get inside, they come to a room in here, and in this room, there's a whole bunch of other homeless people that are also addicted to the nectar of the goddess, that drink. And they're all saying that they need to wait their turn to be called. Someone will come up from down these stairs right here. There's stairs going down into a basement. And they're told they have to wait their turn, otherwise they'll anger the goddess. But the goddess has supposedly promised them that if they obey her, that they will the light of day shall never see them age again, and that she will cover them all with her protection and her glory. So they're all very vulnerable people. They don't have anything. This drink is very good and very addictive, and the promises being made are very lofty, and they've got nothing to lose. So basically, there's like a whole congregation that is gathered here, and they're being told that the goddess will turn them into her image if they're loyal followers of hers. So the players certainly aren't going to wait for somebody to come up, and they end up going down the stairs, which brings them into the basement. And the basement, they go, and nothing special here, some spider webs and whatnot, but they all seem to be normal. This is just a bunch of food supplies and crates, nothing there. But when they get to this room here, that's behind a locked door, and there's you can see there's some bars on it, and there's like a guard behind it. As soon as he sees the players come through this door here, he starts yelling that infidels are here and to protect the high priestess. And I got them removed right now, but I had a whole bunch of minis that were sitting there, like 5 or 6, of the faithful. And they all rush up to the door to try and block the door and prevent anybody coming in. And the high priestess basically runs around and goes down yet another set of stairs. Players eventually break through the door, move past all the indoctrinated homeless people, and they discover a couple things. Over here, they find themselves a sundial, but it's down in the basement. There's no way the sun could ever get to it. That's kind of a foreshadowing, one of the foreshadowing of things to come. And that's because the promises that are being made to him aren't real. The foreshadowing being that, the light of day shall never see them age. Well, that's because she's going to stop time by covering them all in darkness. But of course, they don't see that yet. So that's just a foreshadowing of what's to come and what's being actually promised to the people. The players then go down to another set of stairs here, and that's where more spider webs show up. In fact, it all ends up being a huge cavern that's just filled with spider webs, and this is where the combat really starts taking place. There's a big spider here that when she bites, the poison that she does is she has disadvantage on melee and ranged weapon damage. Not the 2 hit rolls, but the damage rolls themselves are at disadvantage. And then there's also her mate, so to speak, which is a phase spider, and he's magical, and when he bites someone, they're at disadvantage for any magical damage they do or any magical spells they cast. The healing or anything would be at disadvantage, so the rolls would be less. To roll twice, whatever the lower the 2 numbers is, that's what the healing would be, or that's what the magical damage would be. So they fight their way through all of that, but oddly enough, they don't see any passageway through. There's all these webs they had to go through, so they're not sure how the high priestess got through there. Eventually, they come to this magical portal. When they go through the portal, they end up over here. This is basically, think of like the astral plane, but it's like purple and black spinning void. It's obviously some kind of other plane of existence. And as they're going along this pathway of like floating broken rocks through it, because they can see that there's a doorway that they can get to. As they're going through, they begin getting attacked by Drider, who are clearly the loyal servants to the queen. To the goddess. So that's another harbinger of things to come. They finally make it through there, and once they go through the door, they end up at the main lair of the demon princess goddess, who is Lolth, of course, and Alice is over here. She has been indoctrinated. She's actually become the high priestess of this. She's basically been lured in and drugged, and she's been turned into basically she's been commanded to lure other homeless people in and get them converted to whoever the Lolth believes to be worthy and quote unquote worthy. So those are the people that are getting turned into Drider for her. And they have a big fight on their hands here. Of course, the floor is all covered with webs and stuff, which slows them down. And she attacks them with her really razor sharp legs. And of course, she can also bite them and cast spells. So, and then once they defeat her, they are able to take Alice, who is now unlocked from the spell or the enchantment that's on her. They can bring her back and they can get their reward. But clearly something deeper is afoot going on. So someone has somehow unlocked, because this is the second demon prince that they've had to engage with. The previous session, they had Yeenagu, who is the demon prince of Knowles. So this is yet another one. And there are clues to a third and final demon prince or demon lord. That's the one who's been spreading all this chaos that will end the campaign. That'll wrap us up for this year. So that's it. That is the cult of the spider goddess. Appreciate you guys looking and listening. Leave your messages, leave your comments below, and thank you for following. I'll see you guys next adventure. You take care. Bye.